Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at ADA. First off, I'd like to say thank you for watching the video. If you're enjoying the content, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and why not leave us some feedback down in the comment section below. Okay, so let's get into the price action now. So it's been a while since we covered this, and we were talking about last time we did a video that we could have this additional fourth wave. We were talking about this green fourth wave, which didn't manage to quite get up here and started to break down for this fifth wave. We can see that this came down into our target area that we had here, and now we started to move away. So there's two ways of sort of counting this move from to the downside, and one of them is that we still have an additional wave 1, 2 within this move. And effectively what we'd be looking for is the potential to still have this yellow fourth wave play out. So we've come right into the zone here, and we're looking at this as potentially as a diagonal shape. So if I just get onto this high point over here, down into this low point, actually, we'll get it right on here and then we'll adjust it. Let's slide that across there. So we can actually see that we're right on this 382 zone again. And we were talking about this previously, that we could have this potential where we actually have an additional leg to the downside here in a fifth wave. And this fifth wave would actually look to be targeting out this zone here of this 2322 to this 2212, should it actually start to break down from this current position. It is, however, possible that this is wrong, and what we could do rather is have a completed move into this low point here. And when we're looking at that, if I turn this off for a second, that could be that this wave 3 actually completes here. So if this does complete here, then we would have a different structure which we're following here, and we'd be looking for a bigger move to the upside, potentially to challenge this top line here. And we'd have to look at this as a potential for a zigzag to the upside, and what that would be is basically an A, a B, and a C to the upside like this. So let's just talk about the fourth wave potential here first. So if we do start to, because we can look at this move here basically in two ways. We can look at this as either a 5-wave move, or we can actually break this down into that as a zigzag, and then potentially this as an additional C wave to the upside here. So if we look at it like this, what we can see within this move is if I come up into this high point there, I need to adjust that slightly. There we go. We can see we've actually come up and hit a 1-to-1 ratio here already. So should this start to break down actually from this point, then it would be possible that we could still be looking for this fifth wave to the downside, though we would only really get confirmation by breaking back below this 2392, or developing a bigger 5-wave structure to the downside here. So that would be the first confirmation, probably would be actually getting good structure in a 5-wave move to the downside before we actually break this low. But if we do, this would be the target area that we could actually look to fall down to and target out. So within this move, like I said, we can look at this as a corrective structure as we have it shown here. It is also possible this could become a bigger corrective structure as we had previously shown here as an A, B, and a C wave to the upside, though we wouldn't want to come past that 50% area really. And if I just get this back on here, I should have actually marked it up. If we come back onto this high point, there we go. Go down onto this low point here. So this 50% is this 2806. We really wouldn't want to come much higher than that with if we were still looking at this potentially as a fourth wave. However, we'd also have to be careful that it wasn't this fourth wave, and we could look to potentially complete it and then move to the downside anyway. It's just which fourth wave it would be is something we just have to bear in mind. However, should we fail to break above this zone and develop the next structure that we're going to be talking about, this would be my likely option that is actually playing out, that we'll have this fifth wave drop to the downside. And then effectively what would happen is we would have this third wave move into this position, and we'd still have that fourth and fifth wave to the downside. So if the other option's playing out and this third wave is actually finished here, then we'd only get one more leg to the downside here in this fifth wave. So we need to just watch how this reacts and see what happens here. So if we're going to talk about the other option where we are completed here in the third wave, I'm just going to turn this off for a second so it's not as messy. And I'm going to remove all these drawings off of here. So we need to talk about this move to the upside that we currently have. Like I said, at the moment we could still count it as a corrective move, though there is a way of counting this that could look at it as a impulsive structure, and we're going to have a look at. There's two ways of looking at this. Let's actually go over the. So we can look at this potentially as a 1 2 1 2 3 4 5. The only issue I have with this is that we can count it like this, but the fourth wave and the second wave don't really match up that well. If, however, there is another way of looking at it where this third wave is up here, which we'll go over shortly. If that was the case, then it's possible that we could actually have further extension to the upside. But if this is what's happening, what we would be looking at, so the typical third wave would actually be this 27 23, and we haven't crossed that. So it is possible to have a third wave where we don't cross this mark, but we'll have to just monitor how this happens. Because basically what will happen here is if we move down below this 25-21, we would effectively invalidate this fifth wave potential. So if we move back below this red line area, this fifth wave becomes invalidated, and we would have to recount this move, and there would potentially just be an ABC. And the only other way that we could look at it is a potential 1 2 1 2, but I don't really like that structure, but we'll have to keep an eye on it anyway. If however we do get a move to the upside here, and then we break down and we find support again and we move up again, effectively then I think what we have here is an extension going on. This is the typical area that we'd be looking to retrace to, this yellow box area, as a fourth wave. And the way that's worked out is just off of this low point up into this high point, and we can see that basically this is the little zone that we get here between this 236 and this 50%. This is a common area that we could look to retrace to for a fourth wave, and how we could do so is we could potentially look at this in two ways. We can look at this as maybe we're having a triangle develop here, and alternatively we could just have a bigger ABC as a flat correction where we've come down, we've gone back above this high point, and actually we could look to break down back towards the 0.382. So if this is the case and we are looking at it as a flat correction, effectively what we could be looking at here, if I remove these lines here just to clean it up a bit, if we come from this high point down into this low point onto there, between this actually let's go off of here, it seems. So what we could look potentially for is a move down here towards this 1382 to this 1.618 if it's going to become a flat correction. There is another way of looking at this, and what we could also argue is that we could be looking for a triangle to develop within this move. And what this would be looking at is potentially is having something like this play out, where we have this top trend line here, and what we'd be looking for is the potential that we have an A, a B, a C, and we could be looking to form this D wave and then an additional E wave there. We can obviously, because we don't have this D wave touch point, this could be smaller. It could be something like this, where we get a smaller triangle here where this is an A, B, and a C. So if that does go up at a 1-to-1 ratio, basically what we'd be looking at within this is potentially looking to target out this 2689 zone, maybe as a 1-to-1. It depends exactly how long it takes to play out, but at a 1-to-1, this 2689 would come into play as an ABC, which could actually mark a D wave high point, which would be an A, a B, and a C wave to the upside. However, within this, if we did break down past this point here of 2633 and then finally this 2620, this would invalidate any potential for a triangle shape here. Moving below this A wave would effectively invalidate it, as well as moving above this B wave at this 2713 zone. If we do move to the upside here and we cross this 2713, effectively what I'd be looking for is the potential that maybe we have actually completed our fourth wave, just very shallow here, and we could be looking for this push to the upside. And that target area would be this 2777 to this 2734. Moving up to this would indicate that we have had a 5-wave move completed. So now we were talking about the possibility of having some extensions within this move. Yeah, so I've mentioned, yeah, breaking down below this 25.21 would invalidate this fifth wave, just in case I didn't mention it. I think I did anyway, but so I'm just going to turn everything off for a second, yeah, and clear this out. Okay, so let's clear that out. So there is another way of looking at this move, and I'm going to turn off this diagonal first. We can actually look at this as a potential extension within this wave 3, and if that is the case, what we could be looking for is, rather than looking at this as a whole, as a wave 1, we could split this up as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. We could be in this fourth and fifth. So this fourth wave would, if it was paired up against the second wave here, would actually fit quite a lot. It would fit better. And basically, talking about it in relation to time, this seems to be a lot more similar to this wave 2 than the other way that we were looking at it. So it is possible that actually what we have here is from the bottom a 1, 2, then we have additional 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3. And then we have this fourth wave coming down here. And we're looking to push up one more time for this teal fifth wave. So the key points with this potential for this extension here is, if we move below this point here of this 25.65, that would invalidate these teal waves that we have here. If we move below this point here, which is, let me get a mark on it, the 25.06, that would invalidate these green waves. And finally, moving below this 25.21 would invalidate the yellow waveform here. So if we do push up to this zone, and we actually seem to find support again, then it would be more likely to me that this is what's playing out, and actually all of this move here would have been a third wave, and then we're looking for that fourth and fifth wave to the upside. So we just need to be aware that there is potential for these moves to play out. However, we need to also be aware that we haven't completed this fourth and fifth wave to the upside yet. So whichever option we're looking at, we still haven't completed that fourth and fifth wave to the upside. So we've only got 3 waves effectively. So that can always still break down. So until we get some confirmation by finding support in these zones and staying above these high points and pushing up one more time, at least for the most simple option, then we could always just roll over, like I said. And if this move does roll over, effectively what I would be looking for is that fifth wave target that we talked about earlier on in the video, in the 5 wave move to the downside, that typical fifth wave area. We don't have any structure to work off of if we were to start moving down here, but if we did start to move down, then we would obviously start to get a bit more structure, and we can start to plot it out. So these are the things that I'm looking out for as long as we stay above these high points here of this 25.65, 25.21 and 25.06, we could see further extension within these waves, and it could actually look to push up much higher. These areas here are just being worked off of fibs, so they will adjust slightly depending on how the waves actually form out. But effectively, what this end result could be, if it played out exactly like it is on here, which is not likely, because sometimes these waves will change in the way that they react, and they might go slightly more, slightly less. But then this could be a little target area that we could look up for up here, this 28.59 to this 28.06, if we do see these further extensions. So that's what we're looking for with the potential for an extension here. However, what I want to talk about is back on the, if we do just get this as a 5 wave move playing out like this, what I would be looking out for is, once we complete into this high point, having a deeper correction into this green box area. And this green box area basically would constitute a B wave, and we'd want to see this in a 3 wave move, obviously. So that could be a zigzag. It can take a lot of different shapes. So what we'd be looking for here is the potential that we have all of this move is an A, a B, and then we'd be looking for that C wave to the upside. So if we do move up into this box, it depends exactly where we land up within there, but effectively we could look for a bigger move to the upside here, where this becomes an A wave. We look for this B wave retracement, and then potentially we look to move up towards this 29.13 area at a 1-to-1. So this is just sort of a longer term view of what we could start to see here. However, we need to see what happens with these fourth waves. If we lose this support zone and we break back below this 25.21 and then finally lose this low here of this 23.92, then I would think that we have that extension going on within the waves and we still have that fifth wave drop. However, should we stay above this, we need to make sure that we find support within the fourth wave zones that we talked about. So this one is between this 25.66 and this 26.40, and then the other ones, if you go back in the video, you'll be able to see them. Basically, looking for this support, looking for this push to the upside. This could be a triangle in here, like I said, so this could just be a bit more range bound motion here, where this is an A, B, C, looking for that D wave. We won't break this high, then we'll drop back down but maintain this low here, and then we'll look for that push to the upside. So there's a few options here. I hope that you found this video useful and informative. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already, and why not leave us some feedback in the comment section down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to our Discord. Why not come and join us there? You can have a chat with us. Once you're in the general chat area, just mention a member of staff. We'll be happy to help you out. And yeah, we'll leave it there for today. I hope everyone has a great day, and until we see each other in the next video, take care out there, everybody.